more specific things now. I just want to ask some questions now. The best and the worst job connections, job search methods. What would you say is the five, from this list, what are five of the worst? Anybody got any idea? Or just we'll number them one to five. Internet. Internet is what? Number one. Okay, what else?
Well, I'm going to take slight exception to that because almost everybody who's given a talk that starts with that being the worst one, they end up going back saying, well, then you got to get on LinkedIn, you know, to make your connection. So that's still the internet. So you've got to differentiate, you know, job boards versus something like LinkedIn where you're making connections with people.
And your answer is?
Well, I think I implied, yeah. But I'm just saying the internet as a whole is not necessarily bad.
You're perfectly obliged to disagree. That's perfectly fine. I take that under advisement, as they say.
Yeah.
But what is another bad way of getting a job?
Yellow pages.
Yellow pages. Okay, interesting. Okay, you say that's number. Oh, we're putting number 2. Okay. Any others? Resume, yes, yes. We'll do that number 3.
Newspaper.
Newspaper, we'll put number 4. Where are we? Newspaper, number 4.
None of them are worse. They're all tools.
They're all what?
None of them are worse. They're all tools that you could use.
They're all tools. Okay, point taken. Any others? No, I mean, I hear what you're saying, and it's true, it is true. What I'm measuring as we go to the other page you'll see, is what statistics have shown works the best, okay? Of course you can use the LinkedIn, of course you can use the internet. This isn't to say that you don't use these things. These are saying if you only do those things and rely purely on that, then, you know, it's not going to be so successful. One more.
Federal, state government.
Yeah. State government, all right, government, yes. I would say number 5. Okay, all right. What about the best? Networking, okay. We'll just say number 1.
Choose a place that interests you. Choose a place that interests you.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Any others? Professional journals, that's a good one, you think? Okay, we've got 2 more.
Job clubs.
Job clubs. I thought that would have been number 1. You guys are at a job club. Okay, number 4. And 1 more. All right. School. Okay. So there's a lot of Harvard people here, huh? And Stanford people. You got the job, you got the school connection. All right. You will, and it's appreciated having differences of opinion on this, but this is what the records show. All right. The internet is the least successful way. Again, the caveat is if that's all you're going to do. And a lot of people just think that that is all they should do. Well, I went onto the internet, I went to the library, and I went on the internet, and yeah, there's no jobs, man. There's no jobs, you know. Craigslist got 2,000 jobs, and none of them are the job that I want, okay? So, in of itself, and these are all by themselves, it's the worst that you can probably do, if that's all you're doing. Resumes, the same thing, a little less, a little better, but not very good. My experience with resumes is that if you haven't sold yourself to those people before they see the resume, it's all over, okay? The resume follows up. That's how I've done it. I send it, and then they say, oh man, not only did you impress me with with your energy to do this job, but I now see you got some backup here, all right? So resumes really are just like a backup. It is good to have, and it's important to have, and to make it look really good, showing your ability to help, again, help the individual business that you're engaged with make money, or whatever it is that they're doing. Remember that this is a list of your values, okay, that you're bringing to this situation. Professional journals. When I was in the civil engineering business, I was a consultant for stuff. I used to spend thousands of dollars advertising directly into these things. Nada. Nothing, all right? It's the nice glossy magazine. It's fabulous to see your name and your picture in one of these magazines, but it doesn't do any good for getting work, you know, in my experience. Now, that isn't to say that people don't, but I'm again gambling on the idea that many people do this along with other things. So if I have this and I go to another convention and I say, hey, you see me, my picture in the journal, then, you know, you're going to get it. Newspapers, absolute waste of time. By the time they've gone out there, the job has already gone. You do realize that. It's the same with even the internet when they're in advertising, okay? Because now people are posting all of these things on Twitter. First thing in the morning. I mean, first thing in the morning. And by the time you get up at 9 o'clock, 100 jobs have already been posted, okay? And so unless you're up there at, you know, 1 o'clock in the morning checking in these things, you're going to miss out on those opportunities. And last but not least, federal, state, and local government. It used to be a really cushy job. It isn't anymore. They're not taking on people. And even when it was a good thing, I worked for government for a number of years. I was working as a janitor when I first came here. All right? I was an engineer and I couldn't get a job. So I worked as a janitor for 4 or 5 years, went back to school, then started applying for work. I applied for San Francisco. It took them a year to offer me a job. Oakland took me 6 months. So I took the job in Oakland, all right? That's government for you. All right, so these are some of the best. Voila, the best way to get a job is to make one yourself. Do what you want to do. Somebody was saying here, choose something that you want to do. Self-employment, job clubs. Like I said earlier, someone in this room here will be able to turn you on to a job, or somebody that they know. You've got to make the effort to let people know. Everybody here should have a card. Everybody should have their elevator speech saying in 30 seconds or less what they have to offer, okay? And do it in such a way that the person that they're talking to is impressed, wants to turn you on to their friend, to their business partner. Why would I do it otherwise? If you just come to me and just throw your card at me and say, hey, you know, I'm looking for a job, man, you know, like, you know, I came to the club, you know, like, you know. Am I going to remember that, except for a boring anecdote later on, you know, anecdote, sorry. And so, you know, the whole point, part of the thing here is to get into that spirit, okay? As I said, there is somebody in here for all of you to pass your card on to, who will, in due course, get back to you with a connection, okay? Take advantage of it. Job club. The phone book is actually the best. It's actually one of the best. If you tie it with choosing the place that you want to work, okay? All the jobs that I do now are all in and around Oakland. I can get there by bus. And anytime, in fact, the job that I'm starting next week, they called me and said, oh, it's up in San Pablo, it's going to be in the evening. I said, I can't do that. I don't want to go into the traffic. And I didn't tell them that, but I said, I can't do that, I'm busy, da, da, da. So they kept coming back to me and said, well, when would you like to do it? I said, how about Saturdays? And they said, okay, we'll set it up for Saturdays. So that's what I'm going to be doing now. And I set that in motion, and I just stayed back, and I knew I could do it, but I knew that I did not want to have to go through the traffic at 6 o'clock in the evening, going up to, you know, from Oakland up to San Pablo. That would have killed me, you know, and I'd been exhausted by the time I got there, you know. And right after having driven around for the civil engineers for, you know, 30 years or so, I don't like driving anymore. If I don't have to drive, that's fine. Getting on a bus is beautiful, you know, it takes me everywhere. So I've always made a point of trying to get my jobs in that area. Choosing a place that you want to work. Why would you choose somewhere you don't want to work? Why would you choose to do something that you don't like? It's natural, okay? But by doing that, you know, you can go to your local area. You know, you work in metal, you want to be a welder. Check all the welding places. Go over to them and say, hey, you know, I'm a welder. You want somebody to help? Maybe they don't want it right now, but later on they do. And if you're persistent with it, they will remember it. And networking, which is again what you're doing here, okay? So, all in all, again, to address the gentleman's point here, these are situations, if that's all you do, all right? That's what will happen for you. But of course, you need to combine all of these things. But I would urge you to sort of organize your time around this, because one of the downsides of being on the internet is that there's so much going on, you're distracted. You can sit on there and an hour will go like that, and you've done nothing. And one of the things that I have difficulty with in marketing, because I write some books and stuff like that, and I decided this year I'm going to start marketing them and get on the internet and Facebook and everything. I spend an hour and then I say, oh no, it's just killing my head. There's all of this stuff, and there's no feedback. There's no feedback, except somebody telling me about their cat or their dog or something. I'm trying to tell them about my book and all that. So a lot of these things we have to kind of organize our time around, okay? So, in short, we're running to, yes sir.
You put self-employment as number one here, but on the survey as a group, I don't think anybody put that on the list at all, of best or worst.
What survey?
The one before.
The survey where you asked us which ones were best and which ones were worst, 2 slides back. I don't think self-employment was there at all. It was not mentioned by the group at all
That's
as
right.
number one
Right.
in anything.
Right, agreed. I snuck it down there just to see if anybody would be observant enough to follow it down. But no, a point, and it's, yeah, all right, fine. Yes, we have been trained in many ways to get a job working for somebody else. It's a whole other discussion, but the best way to work is working for yourself. Now, there's a lot of people will tell you horror stories about it, and many of those horror stories are true. But the bottom line is, you're in charge. You can decide how much money you want to make or don't make. You can decide where you want to work, how you want to work, and you don't have somebody yelling at you and standing over you. More and more, we are looking at a situation in our corporate world and our small businesses and the way the economy is running, that not only can you not rely on a given job for a amount of years, okay, or sometimes months, okay, there is no job there that's going to give you all those benefits and that kind of thing. You got to do it yourself. That's part of the flexibility thing. You got to start being, and this is one of the groups that you come to get that kind of support, okay? And at the end of the day, I congratulate you all for making it out on this dull English type day. You know, it looks like it's going to rain. This is what it's like in England all the time. You're walking around. When is it going to rain? It's going to rain, at 2 o'clock. You know, sure, get the umbrella out and everything like that. So I compliment you for coming out and listen to some of these ideas. I wish you well with your search. And if you go to the other room, I've got some little handouts. And the idea of it is never, ever give up, okay? Whatever you're doing, never give up. You're doing it for yourself. You are the most important person here. Never give up on yourself.
You know, I have to add, I did not see the self-employment at the bottom because I don't see that part. But I was looking for a job. I couldn't find, so I become self-employed. And I have 2 different lines of work. And I'm doing that, generating the income. And if something comes up full-time, I'll take that, jump into that.
Right. Absolutely. It gives you, when you're working for yourself, no matter what it is, it gives you that flexibility. And I personally cannot work for anybody anymore. I just can't do it. Right? I hate the bureaucracy. I don't want to run an organization. I could probably run a very good, but I don't want to be a bureaucrat, okay? I want to teach. That's all I want to do. And every time I go for an interview and I say, look, I don't want to take your job, I just want to teach. Just put me in a situation to teach, because that's what I like to do. Okay. So again, it's taken me 50, 60 years to realize that. But at last I found it. So, you know, I'm happy, you know, and I hope you guys will be happy too. Again, my name is Ian Moore. I do have a website, iandawkinsmoore.com, and I can give some information there. But thank you very much for your attendance, and thank you very much for your feedback.
Thank you.